Hello, and today I'd like to talk to you about the need for a Veterans Affair for law enforcement officers. With the high suicide rates, PTSD, anxiety, and depression from such a demanding job, we need help for our men and women in blue. When I think about the experiences our men and women in the armed services go through, we cringe and we are thankful for someone willing to put their life on the line for us. We put a system in place to help them, someplace they can go for the medical all the way up to the mental conditions, someone that can help them. Now let's look at the many similar situations that our men and women in blue must endure every day while serving our communities here at home. Unfortunately, there is no such program for our law enforcement personnel. One or more of us has a family member that puts their life on the line to protect us here at home. Today, I'd like to talk to you first about the need for a veterans program for a law enforcement officer. Second, how we can make this happen. And finally, how it will benefit our emergency personnel and our law enforcement officers. I'll begin by telling you about the need for the VA program. Police suicide is only the tip of an iceberg. There are so many other issues that lie underneath the surface. The bigger problem is the mental health issues that include, but are not limited to, PTSD, anxiety, and depression. It has become common knowledge that enforcement personnel, along with other emergency service workers, are a population highly prone to suffering post-traumatic stress, anxiety, and depression. Their regular involvement with traumatic experiences over the course of their entire careers add to this. Officers spend hours each day worrying about their careers, health, financial situations, families, and you name it, things that everyone else thinks about. Our experiences go along in with those worries and we just can't shut them off. Many physical symptoms are also related to our anxiety. Concentration at work sometimes is off. We can't stay focused. We feel like our mind is drawing a blank. Every little worry seems to build up. We have no outlet. It's not a good place to be as an officer. Additionally, frequently, we feel sad. We feel lonely. We feel like no one else understands. There's no one for us to go talk to. The life and work of a law enforcement officer is a study of contradictions. Here is a capable, willing, and trained, motivated citizen. But we have the same weaknesses, fears, and struggles and emotions as those we are sworn to protect and serve. At the same time, we have demands put on us that no ordinary citizen would choose to have put on them in their entire lifetime. Shift work, we have to make lightning fast decisions. We're going to be tried by attorneys who will tear us apart. We have a goldfish bowl experience. Everyone is judging us. Law enforcement is a career that's difficult not only mentally but physically, but also spiritually. This can lead to depression. So, how can we make this happen? The formation of such a program could be done in one of two ways. We could make a completely different program that mirrors that of the VA. Or it could be done as simply as making a branch of the VA just for law enforcement personnel, firefighters, emergency service workers, and first responders. The biggest issue with doing this would be the funding. Nobody wants to pay more taxes. Nobody wants to dish out more money. And most of America does not stand behind its law enforcement officers right now. So, now that we see that there's a need for this program, how can they benefit from it? We can help our officers recover from traumatic experiences, seeing a baby dead, cutting people out of a car, watching someone burn alive. These are just a few things that we witness every day out there on the front lines here at home. Look at some numbers. Talking about suicide. When we talk about the general population, the suicide rate is 11 people per 100,000. We talk about the suicide rate for military, 20 people per 100,000. Then we look at the suicide rate for law enforcement officers, 17 per 100,000. That's only 3 less than our military men and women. A great, great deal of similarities. Is being a soldier and a police officer really the same thing? Let me read you a quote. Ord Elliott, who was a Vietnam War veteran and author of The Warrior Silence, points to similarities between war veterans and law enforcement personnel. In law enforcement, men and women are facing many of the same things that you do in combat. You're risking your life, and it's perhaps different from combat, but it's certainly the threat of combat. In the midst of traumatic incidents, law enforcement officers can be plagued by the same insomnia, fatigue, and loss of appetite, reoccurring nightmares, anxiety, depression, numbness, and fear for their own safety. Also, the inability to maintain intimacy with their loved ones and the increased feelings of guilt that can serve for depression and suicidal thoughts. So as you can easily see, serving your country and serving your community are definitely similar. I've told you about the need, so how will it help our officers? And how we can make it happen? Together as a nation, we can find a solution to help our men and women who fight the wars here at home. What if you had a loved one who was in law enforcement or emergency personnel service? How would you feel if there was no one there to help them and they were crying out for help? You would certainly think then that we needed a program like this. Take time to put yourself in the shoes of an officer. While we may not leave our country to serve, we do serve right here at home in our own backyards every day. Let's join together and make this happen for our daily protectors here at home. Thank you.